Okay.
Who else have we got here?
I would like
Aqaba, Ghana. What does that mean? Brian from Kenya. Please tell us a really good greeting from Kenya. Please, Brian, type it in there so we can get to know you a little bit.
it's true.
Aqaba, welcome. Wonderful. I've spent a bit of time up in Accra, Kumasi, Tokoradi. Beautiful country, Ghana as well. Very, very welcoming and wonderful people, as well as Kenya, Brian. Lovely people. I've also been, I see we've got David. David, where are you originally from, David? In Nigeria. Where in Nigeria? So we've also got Oloruntoba Odeyemi. Which city in Nigeria are you guys from? Paco from Botswana. In fact, I was in Halapi, Francistown, and Gaborone this year, meeting with our students, and also wonderful
Kenya.
people. Beautiful, beautiful country. We've got from
Was
Jos, Nigeria. I believe that's in the north
mm-hmm.
west, I believe, somewhere around there. And I've been fortunate to travel in Lagos and in Ibadan, Port Harcourt or PH, and
Mm,
Abuja, and hopefully more in the future.
it's true.
And I see someone's met me in Gaborone or Gaborone, if that's
Gaborone.
correct, and that's brilliant. I'm glad I got to meet you, and I hope it was a good interaction for you, my friend. Jumbo in Kenya, I've heard that on the airplane actually, which is good. Jos is north of Nigeria, fantastic. And I
Mm-hmm.
believe I'm wondering if we still have any agreement if the jollof rice from Senegal is better than the jollof rice from Nigeria or vice versa. I don't know.
Yep.
What do you guys think? William from Namibia, very fortunate enough to have been up in Windhoek as well. We've got wonderful students in
Good.
Namibia studying online and a few on campus as well.
That's good. Someone says we are good. That's good to
So
hear.
we've got a few people waiting. We're letting you
Yeah.
in as well.
Yep. We're letting him. So we have 19 people already on session. So yep. All right. So yeah, please kindly post your countries so that we can actually see.
And if I may ask Marvin, if you don't mind me interjecting there, where is Osogbo or
Uso-
DME? Where is that?
Usogbo. I'm not quite sure about
I'm asking
Usogbo.
I
Okay. Yeah,
think
sorry.
it's Oloruntoba. If you can
Okay.
tell us where exactly that is, that'll be awesome.
Uh,
Because I don't think I've been there.
Cebu in the Philippines is also called Sugbo, but it doesn't have an O.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
that's
Okay,
why I answered
brilliant.
one.
That's very a good coincidence, my friend.
Yeah. So, yep.
So we
We have
have
from Nigeria. Can we have from the Philippines as well? Ibadan. Where's Ibadan?
Southwest and a drive from Ibadan. So that
Oh,
is, I think it's next to Lagos Oloruntoba, if I'm not mistaken. So that, okay, great. And I'm from Ibadan, which is good. Thank you.
an R from Ibadan. Okay. Okay. All right.
Okay, guys, I reckon
Yep.
Marvin probably give a couple more minutes for people to join. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, sure. Yep. We can wait for them.
Brilliant.
So, yep. Any countries?
Hello, everybody. It's me again. Just thought I'd welcome those who've just joined in on the session as well. And so we are welcoming more people coming into the session. Um, I'm just waiting for Marvin,
Yeah.
my colleague, to give me the go ahead.
Yeah,
But no rush at all, as we really want to spend some time with you
that's
and
true.
and
And
get
we're
information to you.
yeah, just few more minutes, D, because I can see some of them still coming in.
No problem. And for those of you who just joined, we're wanting
Mm,
to know where you're from and what city, and perhaps a greeting from where you are. And I love everything about international students and traveling and meeting people from around the world. It's my passion. So if you can tell us where you're
yeah,
from, if you've just joined, and something about you, something about your region, that'll be awesome.
yeah. You might have met them along the way, right? Exactly. Right. Okay, shall we start, D? I think we have few numbers already of students here.
Thanks, Marvin. Thanks very much. I'm happy to start. So, this session is all about finding out about what does EIT offer you as an option
Mm,
to study on campus. And so what we'll
mm,
be talking about today is the courses that we offer on campus, a little bit about just a little bit about the actual locations, the campuses, perhaps a little bit about the area,
mhm.
and so my goal is to basically talk to you about that and answer any of your questions.
That's
We've
good.
got the very capable Marvin Yu in the session with us. Marvin works in the course advisor team as well and very knowledgeable on on-campus courses as well. So great to have you there. And we've got a Q&A session on option to do that. I'll maybe
That's
leave
true.
Marvin to talk about that a little bit more, if you don't mind, Marvin.
Yeah, so before we actually start, David, let's start with, few housekeeping. So, for all the audiences have here, yep, for you to have a laser, I mean, as I mentioned in every webinar, for you to have a laser like focus here in this one, please turn off those notifications on your screens, as you can, as you can see in instructions on your, of course, on the screens right now. So, oh, where was that? Okay, let me just take control D. Sorry for that. Okay, so yeah, for for the Q&A, please post any questions on the Q&A section on your screen, upper top, okay, of your screen. So yep, and then we will answer. David and I will be answering those questions right after the presentation. So yep, today is a day 5, the last day of our virtual Open Week 2024. And this is a very interesting topic, especially for those international students who wants to study in Australia. It's because it's an on-campus study options in Australia. This will be presented to us by our student recruitment manager. You've heard from him, sorry, David Gajdus. And then we also have Mike Kemboi here, our student ambassador. He will be sharing his experiences as well as an international student on campus. All right, so just for a common questions, everyone who registered for this webinar will receive a copy of slides and video recordings of this webinar. Okay, so please expect them on the 21st of October 2021 on Monday. All right. And please monitor your junk mail as well because it usually goes straight there. So gotta check that out. Okay. So yep. I will not do more introduction. I will leave the floor to David to introduce further about himself and then his travels and of course his experiences with international students. Thank you so much, David. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Marvin. I'm definitely going to try and do my best to keep up with your energy and your positive approach to our wonderful international students. And again, hello to everybody. And as Marvin mentioned, my name is David, and I am the student recruitment manager for Engineering Institute of Technology. And there's a picture of me, possibly aged a little bit since then, but as you can see, that is me. And I have about 10 years experience in finance and consulting, but my real passion is what I get to do now, and that is working with international students. So I've worked in recruitment for 8 years, going on 9, and I worked for a UK London-based institution first, and now I'm with EIT going on 7 years. I started working in the South African office, and now I am based out in Perth. And so, really good to meet all of you. I see we've got a few more people saying where they're from in Gaborone. Gabs, beautiful city. Nice to see you. And I see Alfred from Kenya, Nakuru. Excellent. So welcome to the session. And so I'm really excited to talk to you a little bit about our on-campus courses. So the goal for this session is that it's interactive. If you want to know something, we're here to help you. And I hope that you leave the session with some insights, some more information, or would say the right information. So what we'll do is we're going to get on to our actual courses. So I would like to say pretty much the name is what we do is in the name of the institution. So the Engineering Institute of Technology. So that's all we do. We don't have other faculties. We don't have a business faculty. We don't have other things that we split our focus and resources on. We're obsessed with engineering. And so if engineering is what you want to do, everybody around you on the campuses in Perth, Brisbane, and Melbourne are focused on engineering. So if you yourself are obsessed and focused with engineering, I think this is the right place for you. We're going to get a little bit more into why I believe that is true and stuff that you can do to check that out on your own. But I'll talk a little bit about our course offerings and what we actually can offer you to study on campus. So you will see 3 bachelor courses there that we currently
Sorry,
offer.
David, can I just interject quickly? Can you take control of the slides?
I can actually move the slides, so that's you can leave that with me. Thank you.
Oh, I don't see it moving on my side. Marvin, do you?
Yeah,
What is
I think yeah, you
what
can take
slide is
control, D.
currently showing on your screen, Leah? Because
So
I'm
it's
looking at the batch.
still your
It's your profile.
introduction. Yep. So if you just take control on the left-hand side of the
Mm.
screen, you'll see at the
Excellent,
top.
excellent, wonderful.
Perfect.
Thank you very much. Thank you
Thanks,
very much. So
David.
very capable, Leah. So if everyone should be seeing the courses that we offer at the moment on the screen, is that accurate?
Yes,
That's
David.
correct. Yep.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, team. So as you'll see on the screen here, we've got our 3 bachelor programs that we offer on campus. And this is in our Perth flagship campus located in 6 Delma Street in West Perth, really close to the city, great location. So we offer the Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering, the Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering, and indeed the Bachelor of Science in Civil and Structural Engineering. You might be wondering to yourself, why is it a 3-year degree? Can I register as an engineer? Absolutely. And I'm going to explain that a bit further. And the reason why we have the 3-year bachelor course, we then have other options or other courses available in the master space, and that is the Master of Engineering in Industrial Automation. And I'm wondering if everyone can type in here in the questions, as Marvin just mentioned, if you have a question, what is this? What do you mean 3-year degree? What do you mean I can register as an engineer? We'll talk about that. So as I've mentioned, we have Master of Engineering in Industrial Automation, Electrical Systems, Mechanical Engineering, and Civil and Structural. Then something called a Doctor of Engineering, which is a little bit different to a PhD. And we can talk about that further. Later on in the slides, we have a little bit more information about what does this mean? How much time do I have to study on this? And what can I do afterwards? And so we'll get into that just to make sure that everyone knows. So all of our programs are offered on campus in Perth. And then as you'll see, our Masters of Industrial Automation is offered in our Melbourne campus as well. And then the rest of the other 3 masters are offered in Perth, Melbourne, and Brisbane. So you have an opportunity to choose wonderful campuses, and we'll get to see some pictures of those campuses in a little bit. Okay. We'll move on, and then I mentioned about accreditation vaguely by saying, can I register as an engineer with a 3-year bachelor? Because I'm sure some people or some students, or maybe even those in academia, think about a 4-year degree or Bachelor of Honors. So we have our bachelor courses recognized and accredited under something called the Sydney Accord. Maybe by show of hands or by comments in the section, who here has heard of the Washington Accord and the Sydney Accord? If you can maybe pop a message in or raise your hand or say yes or no. I'm just interested to see if anyone's heard of that before. Just pop your messages in while I'm busy talking. We'll go back. My colleague Marvin knows a lot about them. Yes, I see. Yes, we've got a yes. Awesome. brilliant. And perhaps some people haven't, and I'll talk a little bit about that. So as you can see on the screen here, a number of our qualifications are recognized by Engineers Australia, and by virtue, the accords under that Engineers Australia are signatories to. So those are indeed the Dublin Accord, but that's for online courses. And then the Sydney Accord, where all of our 3-year bachelor courses are recognized under the Sydney Accord. And then by virtue, all of those other countries that recognize or are signatories to the Sydney Accord, you can register at the same level in that country. So what does that mean? It means it gives you international mobility. So in fact, if you go to Australia and you study that degree, you want to work in South Africa, the South Engineers Council South Africa will recognize that program. So it also is approved by the peak body in Australia, being Engineers Australia. So that gives you credibility, mobility, and peace of mind that your investment is actually you're spending your money on something that you'll get a return for. Okay, so Engineers Australia recognition is the highest kind of peak body recognition you can get, and same as the universities. In fact, some universities that don't have that accreditation for some of their programs. So it's very important. And as you'll see here, specifically our on-campus courses that I've listed here, we have various degrees of recognition by Engineers Australia. So all of our bachelors and then our master's courses as well. I'd love you to put questions in the chat box about that. Maybe even something that will be tricky to answer for me. I hope so, which would be brilliant. So those are the courses that are recognized by Engineers Australia. Thank you, Marvin, for putting that link in. Don't trust me. Don't believe what I'm saying. Investigate. Check for yourself. This is your future. This is your investment. Go and research. We want you to choose the right course for you, even if that means not studying with the Engineering Institute of Technology. It's very important that you do your research wherever you study, whatever you do, because at the end of the day, it's you that needs to be employable. It's you that needs a good education, and it's our job to do that. Okay.
True.
Now, I'll mention a couple of the campuses, and this is where I'm based. So you'll see pictures of our Perth campus. And so check it out, guys. We are in number 6 Thelma Street and 8 Thelma Street, right in the city. It's a beautiful location, very close to public transport, free buses also in the city. In fact, I'll take one that comes straight out into that basically drops me off right in front of the office here. So it's very, very convenient. If you wherever you live, you can get on the train line, get on a bus, come into the campus. What you'll see there, right? Absolutely, cafe and Perth, Melbourne, Australia is the coffee capital of the world. So I've been told, and so I found out it's true. So a lot of cafes, a lot of places to actually enjoy your life, because that's important too. If you're coming to another country and you're coming to study on campus, it's important that you enjoy yourself too, while 100% focusing on studies. Okay. You might see something there, and Marvin might also see something there. And what we're looking at, and I think it's very important, we'll go back to the fact that I said that engineering, that's all we do. All right. So what does that mean? What do you mean? How does that affect me? What do you mean? Why is that important to mention? So that we really care about the students and your success, and we care about support, because we know that's important for people, for you moving to another country, for you figuring out everything to do with banking, to accommodation, to cultural norms, to where can I find my favorite momo if you're from Bhutan, jollof rice if you're from Nigeria, pap and wors if you're from South Africa, and what else if you're from Philippines, Marvin? What's your favorite meal?
Meal or adobo?
Adobo. I don't know what that is, but I have to find it. So all of these things are important, but so support is really important to us. And so you'll see the classrooms there are not massive auditoriums where you get lost. You'll get the attention that you deserve from our lecturers, our learning support officers, everybody else, student support, and each other. Okay, that's really important. So you'll see that our facilities are new, our equipment is new. As you'll see on the bottom left-hand side there, that's our automation teaching lab, And so it's an environment that you're going to get supported in. So you're definitely going to feel that, which is brilliant. Okay. Marvin, I see there might be a question in Q&A, but I'll wait for you to direct me as to how we're going to handle that. There you go. Don Piccolo. Melbourne is the coffee capital. You know what? This is exactly what I've heard too.
Yeah.
And I'll have to say, I'll have to stand up for Perth and say we're not too bad as well. Okay. So I'll just put it out there, Don, if that's okay. Okay. So pictures of our Melbourne campus. So again, we really centrally located. We in the city, and I think that's important. We also have a an environment that's conducive to learning and support. Again, very, very important. You don't want to be you want to be in an environment where you can raise concerns, ask questions of the lecturer, have enough time to actually get that answered, book a meeting in a boardroom with maybe with a member of the academic team, ask your learning support officer a question. So that takes away any sort of strain and stress, because we know studying engineering is hard enough. So we need to make sure that you have all the support that you need along your journey, and feel comfortable enough to actually access that and get the support that you need. So I talk a lot about support, and clearly, hopefully, you can see I'm passionate about that. But sometimes I can maybe stray off the topic a little bit too much. But as you can see, our labs and some of our classrooms, they're in a beautiful location. We've actually just expanded the offering, or expanded the space we have in Melbourne, because of you, because of our students. You said we need more classrooms, we need more space, and so that's what we've done. Also invested in labs there, and so wonderful, wonderful location. And as Don said, coffee capital, according to most people, or some people, should I say. Okay, well, I mentioned Brisbane, so that's our newest campus. We've just opened that. In fact, our first intake was this year, and very very successful intake, and students obviously quite like that location. It's in the city as well, and again, you'll see a theme building here, guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, that we're in the city, so we want to be located where I believe there's part-time jobs available, the right type of jobs for you as students, but also location and access to all the amenities and public transport and all that type of thing. So as you can see, a similar environment, small classrooms, um, and that also, again, as I've said, allows you to interact with each other and the academic staff and so on. So lovely locations, beautiful weather, and livable cities. And I'd like to emphasize that, because maybe we haven't been to Australia before. So what's it like to live there? My personal experience after having moved to Australia 2 years ago is that the lifestyle is amazing. The people are incredible. And it's just a wonderful, supportive place to be in. Multicultural as well. You'll find people from many walks of life in Brisbane, Melbourne, and Perth. And for me, as someone that's come here, not as an Australian, I feel welcomed. And I think that's important. Um, so there's a couple of questions coming through. Marvin, you can tell me when you want me to answer that, and I'm at your disposal. Okay,
We do have a Q&A session afterwards, so yeah, I'll
excellent.
just yep.
Thank you, sir.
We'll get back
Much
to you guys for
appreciated.
this one.
Thank you very much. Now, we've mentioned that the courses are high quality, they're accredited, they're supportive. I believe that they will equip you for the current workplace, what's happening in the world today. This is what I believe implicitly, and I wouldn't. It's very important that I believe in what I'm talking about, and I believe in what I'm talking to international students about, because that's my passion, right? Um, so the fees that with the fees are quite an investment. We do have a range of scholarships that will help mitigate that financial outlay that you have. And so, as Marvin mentioned, you'll get a copy of all of this, and you'll be able to access the information that we have. But we have a range of scholarships available. There are partial scholarships, so this will reduce the financial burden should you actually meet entry for the scholarships, and should you actually be granted the scholarships. And so those are all the way from $2,000 all the way up to some scholarships for current students, 35% in a particular part of the semester, but you will have to pay fees. I can say that for an accredited degree at Engineering Institute of Technology, If you were to go to the next institution with the most affordable fees, it is an additional $10,000 more for the same accreditation. And in fact, maybe not exactly the same sort of support, but that just gives you an indication that we really don't want to, we want to make it accessible and affordable as much as possible. So there are some scholarships available, and some of those are really good, really interesting. I see a point the fees are issued per study period, so paid at the beginning of each study period or by credit card or direct deposit. So you'll pay your fees before for your first semester, before you get your certificate of enrollment, okay, which allows you to apply for your visa. All right, but any questions about that, we'll be able to direct them to the right team and we can get those answered for you. Okay. Hope everybody's doing well and we energetic. I know it's Friday, but hopefully we're doing pretty well. Yeah, everybody's feeling energetic and interested and exciting about engineering. And so we'll get on to the next slide. And I wanted to talk a little bit more about the courses. What level are they? How much time do I actually have to spend? And again, just a reiteration of where these courses are offered and what they look like. So I've mentioned the bachelor's course, Perth campus only, everyone. So just a reminder that this is offered at the Perth campus where I'm based. In fact, where I'm sitting at the moment upstairs in the building, in a brand new building. And so a reminder that we offer a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering, Electrical Engineering, and Mechanical Engineering, right? All mainstream disciplines in engineering. Now, just a reminder, Western Australia is a hub for mining all over Australia, all over Western Australia. And so what we know that is that these type of jobs are heavily in demand in Western Australia and beyond. So very important. So what do they look like? How many units? How much time? And so we'll answer those questions. And so the bachelor comprises of 27 units, as well as workshop and work experience. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a moment because there's something very important. And I mentioned employability and I mentioned relevance, and that's something I'm going to mention on a slide. So 27 units and also workshops experience. Workshopping experience units are required for completion. So I'll talk about that again in a little bit. Workshops are delivered in break weeks, so in between in the break weeks, which is important. You will have 4 to 5 units in each study period. That's dependent on a number of things. The degree is 3 years full-time. Remember, I mentioned that the Bachelor of Science is recognized under the Sydney Accord, which recognizes 3-year diplomas and bachelor degrees. And so that is equivalent to AQF or Australian Qualification Framework Level 7 program. Okay. Students can do the bachelor 4 to 8 years part-time. So for outline students and things of that nature, and a couple of other cases, but 3-year full-time bachelors. When you study on campus, it is really important that we focus on the studies. Yes, we can work part-time, 20 hours a week and more in our breaks, but I can't reiterate this enough, guys. If you're considering studying here or anywhere else, your focus is studies, and then everything else will come. Okay, so main focus is that you're here to study, and then you can work part-time as a secondary priority. But please remember that if we work harder with your studies and you spend the right amount of time and you dedicate yourself, all the other rewards will come. Okay. So one semester looks like this: 12 study weeks, 2-week mid semester break, 1 week study break, and then obviously exam times as well. Okay. I hope that makes sense, and I hope everyone's happy with that. But please keep the questions coming in either the chat box, but hopefully in the Q&A section there. All right, and so we move on to the higher education courses, and I said I'd talk a little bit about the Doctor of Engineering as well, and I'll start with the Masters. So a reminder that all of our master programs, except the Masters of Industrial Automation, are available at all campuses, and then Master of Industrial Automation at our Melbourne and our Perth campus. Okay. A recap of the topics that we offer there and the disciplines. So Civil and Structural Masters, 2-year Masters of Engineering, MEng, Master of Electrical Systems, Master of Mechanical Engineering, and Masters of Industrial Automation. Now, please put in the chat box. I know we're running out of time, Marvin, so I know you're probably going like this. Gee, can you stop talking? We need to get on, but I really want to talk to you guys a bit more. So, what is industrial automation? Just pop it in the chat box. What is industrial automation? We can hopefully get that there. What is industrial automation? Pop it in the chat box, because sometimes it may look like automotive, which is car engines. No, definitely not. And so that's one of our flagship programs. So pop it in the chat box, and Marvin and I will chat about that afterwards as well. So how do the structures work for our masters? What does it look like? So we have 13 units in these masters, okay, including your thesis, okay, which is very important, as well as workshops and work experience. Workshop and experience units are required for completion, so you have to complete that to actually qualify and also register with Engineers Australia. All right. I see the industrial automation is more like mechatronics, very much related, absolutely. So essentially, the control of machines, robots, equipment using machines and software. Absolutely. So there's examples of that everywhere you look. In fact, your day-to-day life is filled with examples of automation. Even your ATM cash machine that you go around the corner and draw your money out of is an example. But there's way more interesting and cool examples, and hopefully you can put that in the chat. So back to the how it works and makeup. So that is at a AQF level 9 master's degree there, if you can see in the bottom right-hand side of the slides. And 4 units are taken in each study period. There's 8 per year full-time, and this is a 2-year degree full-time. All right. So again, if we're working hard, we're studying hard, it's only 2 years, and this will set you up for a very, very successful career, or a continuation of a successful career. And 1 semester comprised of 12 study weeks and a 2-week mid-semester break. Okay, so Masters in a nutshell is on the screen. Get a copy of these slides, and then my details are also here on the end of the slide, so you'll be able to ask us any questions after the fact. Welcome, Salim and the company. There's more people coming, which is great. So let's have a look at our Doctor of Engineering. Okay, so this is a very interesting program. There's a few differences between a PhD and a Doctor of Engineering. I guess I won't spend too much time on those differences. However, if we look at a PhD, this will be more focused on science, scientific research, and basically, in the academia space. When we look at a Doctor of Engineering, difference is that the Doctor of Engineering will more be focused on solving issues in the engineering world, solving problems in the engineering world. So I would say it's more focused for those who are more hands-on, those who are more focused in that space. It is 16 credit points, comprised of 16 credit points, okay, 4 units and 1 research project proposal in the first year. The research project proposal is the equivalent of 12 credits, okay. The second year has a further 4 units, and that's 44 credit points. 2 of these are units are research-based. The third year is fully occupied, so you'll be busy with your doctoral dissertation. That's 48 credit points. So a little bit more about the doctor. We can apply through agents. You can apply through our education agents, which I'll talk about in a little bit of time as well. You can propose a certain topic in engineering. Does not have to be the disciplines that I've listed in as a master, so civil and structural, electrical, mechanical, industrial, automation. It can be a subject in engineering. Okay, so you'll submit your proposal and your topic, and then through the agent, through the portal, I'll talk about that again, and then EIT will source a supervisor for you based on your topic. So depending on what it is, we will try and source your supervisor for that. And so that is an AQF level 10. There's no bracket for that or designation under Engineers Australia. So you'll find Washington Accord, as I mentioned just now, is the top level there, which the masters cover. Okay, so I hope that's been really helpful talking a bit about the courses. And I do want Mark to actually talk to you authentically because he's a student. He can tell you his experience. Maybe it differs from what I'm saying. Maybe it validates a couple of these points. And so I'm really looking forward to getting that from you, Mark. Okay, so I'll just quickly touch base on this, right? So we know we can study online. We know we can study fully on campus. And what is the benefits of studying on campus? Certainly with the EIT. And so I'll just touch base on a few of these points. So we have classrooms. So you'll come into the classroom once you've got your visa, once you've applied. You'll come into the classroom. So there's physical classrooms we have here. We have physical labs. We have people on campus. Remember, I mentioned support. So we have something called the learning support officer. We have academic support. We have student support. So everywhere around you is someone that can help you with whatever it may be, even outside of your life, banking accounts, where to go and eat, places to visit, how to go about all of your life, but also in academic space as well. You are flipped classrooms, so basically you can listen to pre-recorded lectures, prepare yourselves for live tutorials and practicals, all right? And so if we go down and if we look at the right hand side, it goes in that circle. Our live tutorials are high quality synchronous, and if you are actually in that tutorial, it's live, and if someone is streaming in, the importance there is that you're connected. So that's really important, being connected, even if you are actually attending a online session. We have our hands-on practicals naturally. You have access to our workshops and all of that. It's industry linked. And remember, I mentioned that what we have to, what we make sure is that you are going to learn what is actually happening in industry. And we also arrange meetings in companies, the leading companies in Australia, and also connect you with internships. And that's very important. And so I'd like to talk a little bit more about that. In fact, I've got the next slide talking about that. And I mentioned a lot about support. We're student focused. We've recently won the Western Australian Export Award for International Education for the fourth time. In fact, that was 3 weeks ago. So students are telling the government is assessing us, and they are saying that this is in fact reality. We also placed first, second, and third in a number of quilt surveys, where students are telling the government that I'm happy, I'm in postgraduate employment, I really had a good time in my course. And so this is very important because students are telling the government, not us, they're telling the government that they've had a really good time. They employed. The quality of teaching and learning is excellent. And also winning the Western Australian Export Award in competition with all the other providers. I think that's good. We've also won the national award as well, and we're in the finals on the 20th of November. So we really care about what we're doing, and we are student focused, in my opinion. And perhaps Mark can shed some more light on that. Okay, almost to the end of mine, and I'm sure you're excited to hear someone else. So this is very important, everyone. Work integrated learning is going to be one of the most important things. Well, I'd say there's a lot of important things, the quality of education, but work integrated learning or internships is going to be important, and for a number of reasons. One of the main things is that you get to add Australian experience on your CV, and you get to connect with I've seen a question coming there, brilliant. So you get to connect with the industry and network, and also get work experience in Australia. So we will arrange 240 hours of work integrated learning. It can be part-time or full-time. It can be physical, virtual, or hybrid placement. We try and focus on physical as the first aspect. But as you know, things have changed. The landscape has changed. Technology is available. We will get you 240 hours internship, and there's no cost to that. So that's very important. Doesn't affect the duration of your degree. And just remember that you have to make sure that you passed your first year, and at a 50% or more, and make sure you're in good financial standing. But this is, if you work hard and you focus on your studies, you will achieve that. And I believe that with the support that you have here, you will achieve that. All right, so a little last bit before we hand over to our friend Mark. What I wanted to just talk about is, how do we apply? what is the application process with Engineering Institute of Technology? Because it's quite, sometimes you look at the documents and the process can be quite intimidating. So we make use of a network of registered education agents, and I can name quite a few: Nigeria, Ghana, Botswana, Nepal, Sri Lanka, India, Pakistan, wherever, because we've got really good agents. And so what I want to make sure is that you know that the agents that you will use, if you ask us to refer you, or if they tell you they're contracted to us, they are highly trained education agents. They are contracted with the EIT. They know what's happening on the ground and how to put all your documents together and sort of how to read, mitigate your risk as well. And so we have a range of registered education agents that will assist you and take care of this for you and liaise with us regarding that and take away your stress about what do I need to do and how do I need to go about this. I think that's really important. But you can talk to my team as well if you have any concerns, because we sometimes think maybe, okay, I'm in this country and I've heard about agents and they don't do the right thing. Ask us and we will connect you with someone that has demonstrated that they're ethical, honest, and worthy of your time and your actual investment. Okay, so we can do that. So we will connect you, or you can connect with a registered education agent. Okay, and you need these documents when you come to the agent, or when you come to us and we connect you with the agent, and that is your relevant academic transcript. So if you've done year 12, you'll need to have 60% in mathematics if you want to do a bachelor's. Okay, and then if you are interested in a master's program, you'll need your bachelor's transcript with your full transcript with all your backlogs. So your full history of your transcripts certified by the agent. They'll take care of that. Your English language proficiency test. So that can be either PTE, that can be IELTS. And so you need a level of 6.0 for bachelor, no band less than 5.5, and 6.0 for masters, no band less than 6.0, and 6.5 for Doctor of Engineering. So that is kind of the range there, and we can actually assist you with that. Okay. We can also package, but at the moment, I think in terms of we don't see a lot of package requirements, but we can actually look at that. Your CV. So when you submit your CV, it's also important, especially if you're in your doing a master's. We need to see your CV that you've been working in the industry, and that includes the full title, your responsibilities, and the date that you've done that work. Okay. Our admissions team will aim to get you your process your application in 2 to 3 business days, and also all applications are applied or processed on a case-by-case basis. So I've had you for 40 minutes. I'm going to hand you over to our dear my colleague, my friend Mark, and thank you very much for your time and your questions. I'm sorry I took so much of your time, and I'm going to hand over back to you, Mark. Thank you very much.
Hello, Mike.
Hi. So, thank you so much, David, for
So no problem, Mark. And I thought maybe I'd also still ask you just get you to introduce yourself, and then if you can just go into your experience, it'll be great.
Fantastic. All right. So yes, so my name is Mike Kemboi. I'm currently the student ambassador for Engineering Institute of Technology, Melbourne campus. So I'm really intrigued by this session. It's a very informative and very essential for the incoming students who want to venture in this dynamic field of engineering. So currently I'm studying Masters of Engineering, majoring in mechanical engineering. So I'm just pretty much 1 month to completing my study and graduating. So I'm also excited by that. All right, so about my journey and experience with EIT, it's been a really fantastic experience in terms of academic and all other aspects as well. So yeah, the fact that the curriculum in EIT is field oriented. So for the students that wanna really work in the field, who really wanna be engineers working there in the field, the courses in EIT are really structured to enable you to get the real concept. For instance, we've been learning, I mean, in my first year, we learned about hydraulics, pneumatic systems, as well as, heat transfer. So as I went to complete my internship, which was another good thing that EIT coordinated. So I witnessed, these processes are really linked, and it's what's really happening in the field. So that's my point, that really EIT's curriculum is outstanding in that aspect. So another fantastic aspect about EIT is the management and how it has been well structured. Its framework is meant to really nurture the student, to support the student. We have good LSOs who are really friendly to the students. Whenever you have any question, whenever you're stuck with your, you can figure out stuff in terms of academics, finance and stuff, you can contact the LSOs and they will really be of wonderful help. So yes, so yeah, as I mentioned before, one of the highlights that was intriguing to me in IT was the internship that I completed with Coca-Cola in Morabin, just here in Victoria. So, which was coordinated by EIT. So, about the feeling of studying internationally. So, okay, it's a mixed. There's a mixed reaction here because coming into a new country, it can be overwhelming to adapt to the system, to know where you're going. Those little things, using the train, better students can also attest to that, that it can be really, challenging to maneuver around, accommodation. There are a lot of little aspects that really come in handy. I mean, they really impact the academics in one way or the other. So that's the overwhelming part, but also it's interesting to venture into new environment, get to know um, uh, the advanced, the advanced version of academics, because EIT they really major in engineering, and I would really encourage the other students as well to, enroll and join us in this journey. Because engineering is dynamic today. We have the next year we have new technology coming in. Yeah, because for instance, you see, we are now transitioning from fuel operated engines, the petrol engines and diesel engines. So we're going into hybrid and EVs. So um, it's a good thing to really keep an eye on that as well as students. So you need to know that engineering is a dynamic thing and aspect that requires flexibility. So my favorite part of studying in EIT is the supportive environment, which is really crucial and vital for students' life. So as I mentioned about the LSOs who are really fantastic with their support to the students. So yeah, so my message to the prospective students, as an ambassador, for sure, I would really encourage the students to who really want to venture in specifically engineering. We have, for instance, we have civil engineering, automation, mechatronics, we have mechanical. Um, all these courses are really structured by EIT to be, they are field oriented. So it's good for new students to venture in EIT if they really wanna learn the field aspect of engineering. So, and then the other aspect, as I already mentioned as well, is about the internship, which is really crucial for your CV, the resume. When you add that you've had an internship, it will be a good thing. It will make you stand out um, when looking for a job, which is the ultimate goal for all students, isn't it? So thank you so much, David, and the team for giving me the short chance to enlighten the audience as well. I would really
Mark,
appreciate it. Thank you.
Mark, thank you so much. I really, really enjoyed listening to you speak and listening about your experience and the really, really direct advice for the people that we've got here. And so I really appreciate that authentic view of EIT, and really warms me to actually hear that you've had a good experience as well, and you do find the things we do effective and supportive, and hopefully also a very good boost for your career going forward, Mark. So thank you very much. Um, Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
And
Thank you,
so we've
David.
got a last student. Thank you, Mark. Thank you very much. And certainly a wonderful ambassador for EIT, speaking from the heart. We've got a student quote here from Pratish Gandhi as well that I thought I'd include here. He's also on the Mechanical Masters of Engineering. So he says, I pursued a master's degree in mechanical engineering at EIT. The program was challenging, as it should be, guys. It should be challenging, because if it's easier, it's not worth doing, yet rewarding, providing me with a deep understanding of advanced engineering principles and applications. He says he enjoyed the hands-on projects that allowed him to apply theoretical knowledge to real-world problems. And I think every engineer is like that. We want to solve things, and you want to create and solve. What he said was the online platform was user-friendly, and the support from the team was exceptional. One of his highlights was the opportunity to collaborate with students from diverse backgrounds, which I think is important, because experiencing different cultures and each other, I think, is just so rewarding, so wonderful. And he's fostered a global perspective, and so he's not just focusing on what's happening in Western Australia. He's able to kind of get a global perspective through the students we have, through the lecturers we have. He said he would highly recommend a course at EIT. For an enriching academic experience. So thanks also, Pratish, for your words. So I think that is basically concludes the presentations. Marvin's itching to answer your questions,
Yeah,
or
we
get
do
me
have
to answer your questions.
yeah, we do have questions here actually, D. I just listed in everyone. So I'll just probably choose the five questions here. So somehow it's related to the cities. How far are the cities apart? Perth,
Ah,
Brisbane, and Melbourne.
excellent question.
Yeah,
And I think
they're
that's
very
from
interested
Dave.
in. Yeah,
That's from our namesake, David. Thank you very
yeah.
much, David. I believe from Nigeria. Thank you very much. So it's quite far apart. If you look at Perth, it's on the west coast of Australia, so about 11 hours flight from South Africa. And so Perth to Melbourne is quite a long way. I believe about 2,000, more than 2,000 kilometers over the country there. So it's about a 3.5, 4 hour flight over that side. And then not as far from Melbourne, let's say, for instance, to Brisbane and Perth. It's quite a bit of a way up the coast as well. So they're quite far apart, but equally as awesome, I would say.
I think David is planning to travel all campuses here, right?
In fact, I'm visiting our Melbourne campus for our graduation. We have hundreds of students coming there in November, so very excited.
Wow, that's great. So yeah, our second question here is for someone who wants to study Masters of Engineering in Industrial Automation, which of the campus will you recommend?
That all depends on you, the individual, wherever you are, whichever student you are, depends on your personal preference. Because if we look at
Mm-hmm.
Perth, I would say, a lot of massive mines. Now remember, Perth, Western Australia, as a state in Australia, is 2.5 times the size of South Africa, just the state, with 2.2 million people living there.
Mm-hmm.
So massive mines and massive operations there. And so I would say a good place for automation. Um, it all depends on your preference, what you want to do in your
Mm-hmm.
post-study work period. But there's also opportunities elsewhere in Melbourne, different lifestyles and different climates. So if you're looking at Perth, much slower way of life, which I love. Um, Different type of climate. So the summers are very, very hot. The winters are cooler and raining. Whereas Melbourne may be a little bit cooler, but more cafes, more nightlife. And so I guess it's your personal preference. But you'll be successful because we employ the same model in both campuses, support,
Mm-hmm.
dedicated staff. And so I guess it's all pretty much up to you. Maybe you have family over there and it's easier to actually move around. You've got support. So you'll have to consider all of these circumstances, your own circumstances, and also what you really want to achieve afterwards and a lifestyle that you want as well.
All right. Hope that answers your question. So yeah, we have another one, D. He was asking why Doctor of Engineering and why are we not offering PhD?
Ah, brilliant. So we've done that on purpose, right? So we're a practical institution. We want to nurture and expand on people's practical real world engineering expertise. And so brilliant. PhD is excellent and brilliant. Let's say we want to go into science, research, academia. This is brilliant for you. So MIT, there's brilliant institutions there. So definitely pursue a PhD and don't do the doctor of engineering if that's what you want. But if you want to do something that's related to real engineering, real world engineering issues and solving those, and you're more practically orientated, then
Yes, correct.
this is the
Practical.
doctors there for you. In fact, what I'm going to do for you is give you more information on that because I think that's definitely what I've got to do. And so I'm going to pop a link in there, whoever you are. Here's a link, and we've got a massive write-up on DEng versus PhD and why you should choose one and not the other. It's in the chat box here, guys. Just go down to DEng versus PhD, and that'll give you more
Mm-hmm.
information. Mr. Yu,
Yep. We have one last question, D, for the run. So this is situational. So he mentioned I have obtained PhD in electrical engineering, but would like to enroll for your Masters of Industrial Automation, perhaps he means, or Doctor of Engineering. I would have to leave my job in Nigeria if I have to enroll for full-time study at EIT. How can I be assisted because I am passionate about your Will Talk programs?
thank you very much for that. And we really appreciate your recognition of what EIT is doing. Very well known in Nigeria. I think that question is not a straightforward answer because there's many different things we'll have to assess for you, and
Yep.
that is your background, your experience, your reasoning for wanting to do that, and also the current
Mm-hmm.
landscape of things. As I would love to hear from you, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to ask Marvin if you can please collect our we collect the email address of the person who asked for that, so we can
Mm-hmm.
actually book a consultation. That's what we do. We want to actually give you the attention that you need. Marv, I
Mm-hmm.
hope you don't mind. I know you're going to probably be
Yep.
angry with me, but I see one or two. Do you assist students to get accommodation? We don't do the accommodation for you, but we can point you in the right direction. I've also
Mm-hmm.
seen a question there. Do we have agents in Uganda? Absolutely. We've got a number of them in Kampala and some of them is options education. There's
Mm-hmm.
also BADA education in the city there. We've got quite a few of those. And the next application window is now, so you can apply now for the February intake. And that's something that I'd like to reiterate. We've got a February intake coming up and your July intake next year. So you can apply for each one of those now if you want to. The MEng is practical as well. That's in the same person. So it is more practical based. So it's not a master's by research. So there are research components, but it's practical, hands-on as all of our courses are. There you go. Marv, I'll probably back to you to see if there's anyone. Mark Kemboi is giving you the email address there, Marv. So if you can schedule something for us there, thank you.
Right. Thank you so much, Dee. Thank you for the presentation. Thank you, Mike, for sharing your experience with us. And yep, so please feel free to reach us here if you do have any questions. I have posted the email address for our for the course advisors, so you may reach us so that we can actually assist you with that one. All right. I think that concludes our presentation, our session today, Dee. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending, and have a great day. Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you. And just drop your email address, guys,
Yep.
for the last two questions there, and we will email us or email Marv. Just put that there. You can
Yep.
see my email address there. Please email me if you have questions that we didn't get a chance to answer. Now we're off to the next session. But thank you, Marvin, Mark, Leah in the background, Raleigh for coordinating
everyone.
everything. Wonderful team. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank
Bye.
you.